Hello. In this video, we will explain how the cutoff valve works with E-steering. This is the schematic for OSPE with load sensing dynamic. When the steering unit is in neutral position and the control valve for mode select is deactivated, then the mode select EH cutoff valve makes connection through the reaction circuit, L and R. This allows oil to pass from L to R or R to L, and therefore it acts as a reaction unit. This is an example of an OSPE schematic with a non-reaction cutoff valve. This prevents oil from flowing from L to R or R to L while the steering unit is in neutral position, and therefore it acts as a non-reaction unit. When steering with the steering wheel to the left, the spool will rotate relative to the sleeve. The LS pressure will rise according to the steering pressure required, and the priority valve spool will be pressed to the left, and oil will stream through the internal CF side of the priority valve and onto the spool sleeve set, through the gear set, and out through the L connection. In parallel, the R side is open through the spool sleeve set to the tank. When steering up against the cylinder end stop, pressure will rise in the LS line according to the setting of the pilot relief valve. The pilot relief valve shall only open for the dynamic flow generated in the dynamic orifice of the priority valve, independent if steering is done by the steering wheel, OSP, or by the EH valve. The relief valve works with the priority valve to protect the unit from excessive pressure. When the control valve is powered, the pilot supply is led from the pilot reduction valve through the control valve to the solenoid valve bridge of the PVE control unit, and in parallel to the mode select and EH cutoff valve. The mode select valve then connects the EH directional valve to the cylinder ports L and R. In the same shift, the mode select valve interrupts the connection from the spool sleeve set to the cylinder ports L and R. In this mode, the unit behaves as a non-reaction unit. When an input signal is transmitted to the electrical connector of the PVE, in this case, a signal to steer to the right, the solenoid valve bridge is activated, and the EH directional valve spool is moved to the right. The LS and the EH directional spool will sense the needed steering pressure, and this is transmitted to the PVFC valve. The PVFC valve then makes restrictions in the dynamic LS flow from the dynamic orifice of the priority valve, and the LS pressure in the priority valve spool will match the LS pressure required from the EH directional valve spool. Because of this, the position of the priority valve spool will change to match the flow demand for EH steering. In case the watchdog part of the PVD CLS registers an unintended steering movement, for example, from a false input signal to the PVE, the electrical power to the control valve for mode select will be switched off. The control valve will dump pilot pressure to the tank, and the EH cutoff valve will change position so that connection from the EH directional valve spool to the cylinder ports will be blocked. Furthermore, it will not be possible to activate the solenoid valve bridge and the PVE, and unintended EH steering is impossible. That is everything for this video. Thank you for watching.